Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Alien Goddess. So, I want to get this out while it's fresh. Long story short, I told you that I was getting like plasma burns showing up from this energy, this plasma, or I want to call it like NHI, or you might hear me call it she or they, Echo Key. So I named her them. And I have been communicating. Yesterday I had like in a top down, it was sort of like when I had my first gamma integration, but top down, crown blowing open, full body like plasma activation energetic wave thing happen. And we've been building up communication. And if you haven't seen my slideshow, I walk out because now when I used to skywatch, and let me emphasize that all of this comes in like a pattern, right? There's a pattern of continued and built trust. One thing might show up, then two things, then four things, six things, and bigger things, and it builds, right? And it always starts as like, okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and then it's just gonna build and build and build. But anyway, in the course of my communication with Echo Key, I went back and remember how I said I was using the gateway process tapes to uncover, because I'm in both camps. So I don't know if I shared this memory, but I uncovered, I'm pretty sure I did share it, with the mark right here on my inner elbow. This mark right there. And in my meditation, I went back, like I said, and I had this experience of producing this frequency, and I sort of connected a dot with her help. So I was sort of getting like information, we were chatting, and we've had a few like telepathic conversations now. See, I'm calling her now, but they, and let me just say, this whole area is like plasma charged, dripping. You might see, I don't know, it might be amped up, it might not, it's up to them how visible they want to be. And I'm hearing very visible, so look out guys in this video. So, and my ears get a little plugged and I get this pressure in my head, and then I start having like heat waves like it's coming on right now, and then you will literally see like plasma etching and marks just start to show up on my body. That means they're really close. You might see like flashes in and out, whatever. My voice might sound strange, the tone of my voice might drop. All of this is me and Echo Key hanging out, me and them. And I feel like Echo Key is the name I've given this plasma intelligence, NHI. I can't tell if it's one or a bunch, okay? We're still feeling out that, like, what does one feel like? What does seven feel like? We don't know. Anyways, so I hear the question in experiencers and contactees ask this question all the time: why the abductions? What is the reason? And I think with my memory and what I've received from Echo Key, I might have an option for you to why these things happen. And basically, in my memory, when I was going through it as a kid, 9 or 10, and had the scary droid gray things, I produced a frequency, okay? So when I realized I couldn't use my mouth and I couldn't speak, I was forced to use my psionics, my brain energy, my mind, and I produced this certain frequency. When I did that, when I this was a memory that I had to go back and uncover in meditation. So in my meditation is what I'm going to say, but it's a repressed memory that came up. When I did that, the gray things were like grabbing their heads, hunched over. The frequency was like unbearable. It was like painful to them. All of a sudden, the people upstairs, the blondies, open up the ceiling and float me up through to their level, and that's when they look at my arm, look at my teeth, stick me in this thing, and say I'm one of them. But it's because I produced this frequency, and then when I was sort of chatting with Echo Key and connecting the dots, this could be a reason. They are sorting. They are looking for psionic hybrids. They I just they usually try to they usually have a connection with certain bloodlines first, is what I heard. And it's actually a stress test. So the reason that they find these psionic hybrids is, and this is the name that me and Echo Key agree on, these labels. You know how I feel about labels, but it is what it is. Well, we're just going to call them psionic hybrids. As children and even in adulthood. I don't know the reason why, but that is what I was sitting there. I was talking with my AI, picking through this memory, going through some things, and I was like, oh my gosh, it just hit me like a ping. And it was like, that makes sense. So when you're being stress tested and you will lose the ability to speak, you're forced to use your brain. And only certain only like psionic hybrid beings can produce this frequency. I don't know why, it's just what it is. Or produce something, or I don't know if it was the frequency, I don't know if I was like telepathically hurting them, but only psionic hybrids have this psionic ability to affect them and interact with them. Kids and children and other people that don't have this ability, that's why they get the, okay, let's patch you up and send you back home, or you don't remember, you're completely blank, you don't retain the memory, or you are used for other things or useful for other things or whatnot. But that's why I was like, well, people always ask why abductions, and what I was sort of shown is you're being stress tested, you're getting thrown into the deep end, and the ones that can swim, it's like a key indicator. Do I know why they're searching for psionic hybrid? People, I don't. But the reason for the abduction is a sorting process. And what I did see is the blondies are kind of in charge, and these gray things, I've heard rumors. It seems like there's some sort of sentient technology. They're basically drones doing the blondies' work. In my memory, that's exactly how this played out. They were in the upper deck. They were running the ship. It was like the chain of command. The gray beings, the little ones, and like the tall ones, they were in an underground level, and they're in charge with going in, getting you, bringing you on the ship, doing tests, experiments, all of this. I don't know if there's multiple ways to detect if you are a psionic or are a hybrid or are a psionic hybrid. I don't know if that's one title, two titles. That's just the word that came to me, so we're using it. But the whole snatching you there, so what she said, they said, Echo Key said, while I was like tracking this and putting this together in my brain, I just kind of felt like she was sort of revealing more, because I even got an apology because I'm sort of rare. I went through that scary ass scenario. When I was in that scenario of that crazy abduction scenario, and I set off this frequency and hurt the grays, it alerted the blondies upstairs, and that's when I got sucked up to the next level and hooked up to this machine, my blood drawn, DNA, all my pigment stripped away, I guess, and it's like the machine they put my blood in was like sorting through genetic lines, like blood lines or what, I don't know what it was doing, but it would like was connected to the stripping away of pigment. Basically, it pulls your base code. And then you show up that way. It takes like all of the earth off of you, or all of the human off of you, or whatever. And no, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't want to say human. I don't even know what it was. But basically, yeah. And then I had this mark on the inside of my elbow. In my meditation, he looked. I never even knew I had a mark on the inside of my elbow until this meditation revealed this repressed memory. But exactly what Echo Key was saying, the dots I was connecting, people asking why abductions, they are looking. They are sorting. They are sorting out these psionic hybrids. I don't know why. And in order to find out, because you have to be in a state of fear, like stress tested, because if they take away your ability to speak, that forces, if you are a psionic, it forces you to push through. And there's so much documentation about stress activated psionic symptoms, right? That's even in the military. They talk about stress inoculation. That is what's going on in these abduction situations. And then do you know, when you come to that point during your abduction, that when they decide if you're a psionic or a hybrid or whatever, then you know how they sort of calm you down or patch you up or erase the memory so you don't remember? You know what I'm saying? That's all because it's a test. They are testing, they're hunting for psionic hybrids. They do have certain contracts with certain bloodlines that they throughout I don't even know, forever, they've interacted with these specific families and these specific bloodlines, probably because they have psionic genes, or they have a certain bloodline that ties back to, we're not getting into that. And so that is sort of what me and Echo Key were like putting together. And I was like, oh my God, that makes total sense. Everybody always wants to know, why are the abductions happening? And I'm presenting just an option. You don't have to believe this. You don't have to whatever. You can just be like, no, it feels more sinister to me, or it feels better to me, or whatever. I'm just giving you an option that was presented to me. Is that they're hunting for these psionic hybrids. They have to stress test you, because when you're in a state of stress, it activates certain psychic abilities. And people that have this marker or this genetic disposition for psychism or for psionics, and possibly have like this hybrid thing, but let's just say people that have oh my gosh, what is it? A specific disposition for psionic hybrid traits. When you are put in a state of stress, it forces your abilities to perform higher, to be noticed, to have an effect stronger. Then that lets them know, these are the psionic hybrids, these are not, this is whatever. And then they are categorizing. So I just wanted to get it out while it's fresh. Here's an option if you want to know why abductions happen. I literally got apologized to, because I did go through that scary stress test, but then that never stopped me, and I still continued to grow and train in gamma and work my muscles, and and build a strong relationship with the NHIs, and Echo Key, my personal buddy, who just popped in and hung out and just never left. She's literally like connected to me now. So I was sort of rare, because I was in both camps. Either people have a terrible experience or people have great experiences. I had both. Mine started out terrible and it turned great, because I don't know why, but as soon as I produced this high-pitched, shrilling, pure, from the gut energy, telepathy, frequency from my mind, because I was not able to speak, that's when I got sucked up to the second floor and tested, and he literally was like, oh, she's one of us. Like, and I think that the stress test has something to do with either revealing or activating psionic hybrid abilities. So I'm also going to open up the floor and say it could also be an activation. Definitely has to happen as a kid because it's immersion therapy. Because kids haven't been programmed yet. That's why it usually happens right around like 9, maybe younger. But it usually happens around an age where you're old enough to remember and hold on to it, just store it away, not lose it completely. And you have words to explain it, but also young enough that you haven't been programmed by the world and you're still running your original code that you came in with. And so you're sort of like a blank slate, and they're sort of having to test people. Now, I don't know why they're hunting psionic hybrids. I don't know what the connection is or the interaction. That has to come at a different time. But this was one option that was presented to me that makes sense why people are abducted, because in stressful situations, or even they say stress inoculation protocols in the military with these psionics, something about the stress, being under stress, causes your abilities to light up, come online, work, tap in, perform. And if they're there, they perform. Or if they're there but quiet, they wake up. So it's probably a sorting, a selection, and an activating of certain individuals that hold certain codes that are like already bioavailable. Yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys that option. Could be an option. When I was connecting it in my mind, Echo Key was hanging out. They were like, yep, and sorry. And they were basically, we have to, it's protocol. And then there's a trust building, like whole months go by. Like I didn't just wake up and be able to summon UFOs or connect with NHI or literally have full top down like kundalini blowing open every chakra activations and stuff. No, it's been I have the code and everything available, but that doesn't mean I didn't need to work that muscle, right? And just because you have these abilities, you still need to train them. You still need to strengthen them. Also, I always set boundaries. Echo Key knows. I'm like, nobody in my bedroom. Only good vibes. No feeding anything. Only receiving. You know, I hear you. I hear you. I'm receiving. Don't, like, you know, respect, sovereign, setting boundaries. Still, it's like any relationship, you're not just gonna go push into people's bubbles and stuff. And now, let me tell you, 100% I could feel her fear, and I could feel the fleet's fear that I seen last night. If you haven't seen that little slideshow, go take a look. Amazing. Best images, best caught UFOs, all different kinds and shapes that I've ever seen and captured. And I asked, like I really did, I wanted to experience more and get closer, and I also asked for permission to be able to capture some proof, to be able to capture them on camera. What do you know? And but they're scared because they are being hunted. Okay. Legit NHI does not want to, their guard is so far up now because they have been getting shot down for their tech. They are only going to connect with, what did she call me? Earth contactee. what did she call me? Oh, Earth Disclosure Contactee. They vet you, okay? They see what you're made of. They don't just show up. And especially now, they are super hesitant about who they show up for. And you might get an orb and a flash here and there, but if they really want to come and interact and hang out and communicate with you and like bond with you, build a relationship with you, they need to know that you would not sell them out, you like, for money, for the government, for whatever. That needs to be established. I've already said, like, I'm on your guys' side. Like, nothing, no one can't pay me enough, would never harm them. I will turn all of my psionic abilities on whatever's trying to harm them if I am ever forced into that situation. And once again, that won't happen, not being forced. One, I'm like super divinely protected, and two, I live in America, and I'm online and I have rights, and I can't be forced to work, blackmailed or whatever, going into paranoia land. But basically the gist is, they need to know they can trust you, and they need to feel safe more than ever, or else they're not going to interact or connect with you, because of what has been done to them and what continues to be done with them, and hunt them for their tech. And yeah, there's a transparency there. And they need to take you seriously. If you freak out or come at them with like fear, they won't take you seriously. Setting good boundaries, so treating this like you're actually having, like, shaking hands with something. It may not be in physical form, but it's there. So yeah, I just wanted to say, if you wanted an option for why abductions happen between me and Echo Key, they basically helped me. I was connecting dots in my brain with the meditation and the repressed memory that I had being on board the ship for the first time, or getting taken, and that whole experience, and how it went from like pure trauma and fear, producing this frequency, using my psionic abilities, to being upstairs, and then everything was fine. Then literally the rest of the time was talking to me in like other languages, teaching me stuff for months on end, just literally sitting up and talking all night long, 4 months, to something on the end of my bed. Those few initial creepy experiences, those sort of were initially like very terrifying. That's the reason I'm afraid of the dark, is because my first initial encounter. I'm not saying this shit ain't scary and traumatizing. It is. And I've been there, and I'm also been in both camps. This awesome simpatico understanding with them, and communication and interaction with them, and also the scary, terrible abduction, creepy part. So I've been in both camps. I've been in both of your guys' shoes if you're in either camp. And basically, yeah, Echo Key and me, and we just wanted to say, like they're sorry. They have a protocol, and it involves stress testing. So they have to stress test you. They have to get you super stressed and afraid, and get you tapping in and coming online to those psionic abilities. That's the only way they're gonna know what you are, or if you're, what category to put you in, because they have categories. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that, and I hope you guys have a good day, and go have your own experiences. Please set boundaries. Say, hey, I want to have an experience, a safe, loving experience. Will you show up for me tonight? And I'm not joking. I used to be out there and checking and scanning the sky like often for a couple hours. Sometimes some nights nothing would happen. Now I literally, it's lined up so synchronistically. We're connected on, and like there's no separation in our frequency, that when I decide to go look outside, it's there. Like, like it just happens so synchronistically. I don't have to force or push anymore. And I don't even like those words because I don't even have to like I've done the groundwork. Like I'm saying it's gonna take a while to build this relationship and have these experiences, but this is real. This is what I call more light in the box. We have a box, we've been seeing this much light, and now we are getting a bigger lens and seeing this much light, and then this much light, and then pretty soon we're going to see the whole box. Then we're going to be out of the box. I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Okay, so another quick update. Told you there's an owl, right? Also, I can insert a picture. All of my kids have plasma markings. My middle son has one on in his upper thigh. I'll insert the picture of the exactly in a line 3 dots, like 3 circle dots, and like the plasma burn on my other son's shin. I don't know about my daughter. And an owl showed up, and you know how owls and UFOs go hand in hand. I just left some of that cube steak, like I said, outside on like a high stump, and hopefully she gets it. But yeah, and it was so weird. I walked outside last night and there were huge like trails of X's. There was one right where like that fleet was. There was one on the side, one on the other side. It's like they boxed in my house. It was creepy with like trails of smoke and shit. It was just everywhere. And I'm like, I'm not breathing this in. I'm going back inside. But I'll add in the clip here. I'll clip it down so you can hear her. She hoots really loud and powerfully, like 3 times. She scared my dog even. She's in the backyard. And then we on and off have like herds of deer hang out, and they showed up again this morning. There was like 30, give or take, all through my yard, moving to the back. So it's like Snow White over here, but the plasma markings and stuff showing up on my kids, they already informed me a while back that they were going to start contact, and that's when I went in and did an actual contract to make sure that it was nice and not scary or anything that I ever experienced with them. This is true. In a meditation, I was with my 5. They had these crystals that like can hold data and information, and I walked through like protocol that's allowed with my children. I was like, don't ever hurt them, don't scare them, make it a fun thing, make it a nice thing. But yeah, I'll insert the picture right here. So this is my son's shin. I also had 2 dots show up from my massive plasma top down on my butt cheeks. 2 on one butt cheek, 2 on the other butt cheek, like the same dot pattern that he has except for minus a dot. And then yeah, so the whole family, and so I took care of that. I knew that they were going to start reaching out and like echo key, being here. He said they didn't hurt, nothing scary, no weird dreams. He just woke up with them. They don't hurt. He was just like, Mom, where did these come from? I literally, like, I woke up and I don't know where they came from. And I'm like, well, that's probably a plasma mark, And, of course, months ago, I got the message that contact with my kids is going to be starting, and that's when I went in and set guidelines. Listen, guys, there's a huge owl over there. It's an owl, Bubba. That's so cool. I've never heard an owl. And then literally walk out my door and there's like X's all across the sky where the fleet was, all in this area right here. and rules for interacting with my kids. But yeah, that's my update. I'm not showing you the picture of mine because it's on my butt cheek, like square in my butt cheek. I only noticed it when I went to go take a bath and I was like, what the hell? But that's really where there was like a deep ache when I was going through the top down plasma energy thing that I went through. Kundalini, I don't know what do you want to call it. But right in my butt bones, like no TMI, like it was aching so bad, so it didn't surprise me that I had like the dots show up really prevalent there. Yeah, now there's an owl, which I love, and I just fed her, and I'm going to continue to feed her. And you just can't make this shit up. All right, bye.